Recording in progress.
Good morning, Chair. It's Andisa speaking here. The time it's 10 o'clock. You can proceed with the meeting.
Good morning, Mr. Kula. Thank you very much. Good morning, honorable members, honorable ministers in our midst, the deputy ministers, the support staff, the secretariat. Let me take this opportunity to greet you all. I will plead with you, Mr. Kula, or Ms. Kaka. When the minister arrives, as he has indicated indeed that he's going to be forming part of our meeting. However, he's finalizing the meeting of NA, the portfolio committee. So we welcome that apology.
I'm here, Chair. Sorry, Chair, to interject. I just want to say that I'm present, Chair, before you mark the registry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. In our midst, and indeed, we appreciate your presence in our midst so that when we're dealing with the infrastructure of both cities, you are here also in order to assist us in terms of addressing some of the challenging issues as have been highlighted in our mandate to these different cities. You are also both welcome, the mayors, if there are mayors, your MMCs, your administration for both cities. As we all understand that our meeting is specifically dealing with, is dealing with these two cities as we dealt with other municipalities, in our previous meeting. So we're taking our responsibility very serious. But before we start with our meeting, we are going to allow you, Honorable Minister, just to have some few words before we proceed. Can we take a moment of silence because we've lost one of the leaders of government? Former deputy president of this country, Mr. Titi Mabosa. He has been in this path, So it is just a few minutes of a moment of silence in order to share our condolences, as a COP with the nation, with the family. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, honorable members. We will start with our items. Can you flight the agenda so that we proceed with our items? I think it's adoption of the agenda. Can we, honorable members, adopt the agenda items? Can we do that, honorable members?
Honorable Swaminde, I propose the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Subande. Honorable Duplessis.
Honorable Chair, I second the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you very much, honorable members. I see Honorable Mokwele and Honorable Adrianse seconded the agenda. Thank you very much, honorable members. Can we take the apologies?
Chairperson, can I come in? With
Yes,
apology before?
yes.
No. Thanks very much, Chair, and greetings to honorable members. As I've already tendered my apology before the committee, I will be in the transit just now. When I cut it off, members must not be surprised. But immediately when I landed at Cape Town, I'll try to reconnect. Maybe I can find it. I thank you. I just wanted to submit my apology personally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mokwele. Apology is accepted, is noted and accepted. Any other apologies? Is it you, Ms. Kaka or Mr. Kula?
Hello, Chair. It's me, Mr. Kula. We have two apologies. We have
Yes.
an apology from the Deputy Minister. She's unable to attend due to ill health. And we also have an apology for Honorable Briet. She's currently attending to by-election in the Free State. She will join us later if it's possible. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Those are the apologies, honorable members. Can we adopt the apologies? Honorable Adriansa.
Honorable Chairperson, good morning. Yes, I move to adopt the apologies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. Honorable Duplessis.
Thank you, Chair. I second the adoption of the apologies.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Now let us go straight to our items. What I will plead with the minister just to make an opening or introductory notes, honorable minister. Then we go to the first city, to our first presentation. But when we're making this presentation per city, just to highlight who are in attendance so that we are in tandem in terms of which city are we dealing with, who is there in that particular city, to do a formal acknowledgement and also a formal introduction per city. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, the floor is yours. Is the Honorable Minister still with us?
Yes, leader. I'm trying to get there's a problem here with my connection, not connection, but I think I'm fine now. Leader, the chair.
Yes, Honorable, you can proceed, Honorable Minister.
Chair, I would prefer to make the remarks after hearing everything, but because I will be I just cancelled another meeting I was supposed to be part of. So, with your permission, firstly, I want to say thank you for the opportunity that I'm on this call, but I would like to hear everything because I've got some thoughts I'm holding regarding this, particularly on the two subjects that we'll be discussing here. So, Honorable Fanny, with your permission, can I have my speaking turn at the end, if that is good with you?
You are granted, Honorable Minister. We don't see any hassle with that. Thank you very much. Can we proceed now to?
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Can we proceed now to our cities? Can we start with Nelson Mandela? Just intro and then we proceed with your presentation. Or is there any other order that you agreed on at the level of the Secretariat? Nelson Mandela, are you here? Nelson Mandela. Cape Town is the. Are you ready?
Good morning, Chair. This is Councillor Francine Hyam. Yes, we are ready to present.
Okay, Cape Town.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, shall I share the presentation from my screen? Good morning. Shall I share the presentation from my screen, or will somebody else be presenting the presentation?
Yes, you must share the presentation on the screen and then allow someone to present this. That is not a problem. Good morning, honorable member. You are welcome.
You, Thank you so much. Chair, I just need someone to enable me to screen share, then I'll share the presentation. Great. Thank you, Chair. Is my presentation visible to everybody?
Clear. It's clear, Honorable. We can see it. You can proceed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Chair. Good morning to Minister Gayton McKenzie as well. It's quite an honour to be able to present to you, sir, and to all the other honourable members of the NCOP Select Committee on Education, Sciences and Creative Industries. Thank you so much for this invitation and this opportunity to brief you today on the work we are doing in the City of Cape Town to provide quality sports and recreation facilities for all the residents of the City of Cape Town. My name is Councillor Francine Hyam. I'm the Mayoral Committee Member for Community Services and Health at the City of Cape Town, and I'm joined today by 4 of our officials from the Directorate. We have on the with us our ED for Community Services and Health, Zikiswe Mantlana. We have our Director for Recreation and Parks, Chantal Michaels. We also have Nabil Basadin, who's one of our managers for Facilities Management and Project Management. And we have Leroy May, who's a manager for our Planning, Development and Project Management Office. So, Chair, if I can continue. We'll start with an overview of the, thank you, Chair, of the sports and recreation facilities at the City of Cape Town. So the majority of these facilities fall within the responsibility of the Community Services and Health Directorate, as well as some of our facilities that fall under economic growth. And I'll go into a bit more detail about how those facilities are split between the 2 directorates. So our Community Services and Health Directorate contributes specifically to the health and well-being of our residents in the City of Cape Town through our community and health facilities, through public spaces and our services and programs, and developmental programs that promote social inclusion and community well-being. We have 5 departments within the Community Services and Health Directorate. We have our City Health Department, which includes our clinics and environmental health. We have Recreation and Parks, which is going to be the primary focus of this presentation today. We also have our Community Arts and Culture Development Department, Library and Information Services, and then our Planning, Development and Project Management Office. Under Recreation and Parks, the operational functions there are divided into 3 key broad areas. We have our horticultural maintenance section or functional area, which includes landscaping, maintenance of trees and open spaces. We have our recreational programs, and we have our facilities planning and maintenance. So those are around the sports facilities, swimming pools, and sports fields and stadium. Then, just to give a sense of the scale of the facilities that we manage, there are over 7,900 facilities, but these obviously include also underdeveloped public spaces. We have just over 201 community halls and recreational centers, 114 ablutions, 8 stadiums, 13 resorts. I won't go into all the details, but also 159 sports fields, 35 swimming pools, and many more other facilities, including community parks and cemeteries. In specific relation to the presentation today under our recreation and park sports facilities, we have 8 stadia, 159 community sports facilities, and 38 swimming pools. The recreational facilities are divided into 3 categories. We have our stadiums, our community sports grounds, and the swimming pools, which also are broken down into sort of indoor pools, regional pools, and community pools. In terms of the grading that's applicable to these facilities, we have 2 SASRIA stadium that are compliant, 4 in which we've submitted SASRIA compliance in the 25-26 financial year, 2 that are that we're planning to submit for 26-27. One of our multi-purpose centers as well, we're applying for SASRIA compliance, and the intention is to apply for SASRIA compliance in the 27-28 year for SASRIA compliance for one of our swimming pools. Then in terms of new planned developments, this is based on an 10-year infrastructure plan that we have at the city. We have 1 new development in Mitchell's Plain, which is an existing facility that's being reconfigured and upgraded. 7 stadia upgrades, many of which are actually in progress already, particularly at Blue Downs, Westphalia, and at Fachieskraal. There's 37 existing phased swimming pool upgrades and 1 major redevelopment, which is at the Vulindlela pool. We have other various integrated recreational facilities that are being upgraded, 3 major community sports facility clubhouses at Strandfontein, Bishop Lavis, and Langa that are planned, as well as 12 new synthetic pitches, some again which are in progress, but many that are also still planned as well. Then just to note, we also have strategic assets, but the management of these sits within our economic growth department. These include the Greenpoint Stadium, the Greenpoint Athletic Stadium, and the Athlone Stadium. These are strategic assets specifically for international and national events, and they also have a medium SASRIA grading for those events and have future upgrades planned. Any questions that can pertain to these facilities, we can submit answers in writing afterwards, but our focus in this presentation is primarily on our recreation and parks sports facilities. Then the question was raised about how many sports facilities are not currently functional. So this is a list of the current facilities that we have at the City of Cape Town, where we're facing significant challenges, a lot as a result of vandalism and damage to these properties. So I'll just run through those quite quickly. The Swartklip multi-purpose sports facility. With all these facilities, we obviously have planned interventions and investment over the next couple of years to try and get them back to a standard that we're really proud of. So at Swartklip Multipurpose Sports Facility, the facility is scheduled to be demolished, and there is future plans in progress. Unfortunately, due to technical studies of the building deteriorating, the building can collapse and cause further damages. So that's why it's been closed off to the public. The Belleville Velodrome Athletics Track, this unfortunately remains unusable, or the track at the moment, but the broader velodrome facility is still accessible for events less than 200 people. There are current decisions or feasibility studies being done about the future use of this facility. The Dolomite Sports Facility, this is a local community facility located in Tafelsig. Unfortunately, it has been completely vandalized, and we are planning work to get a full reinstatement, but obviously in a phased approach. Then we have the Vulindlela and Belleville South swimming pools. I've mentioned Vulindlela earlier. This is one that is not currently open, but we are working. There's in the process of conceptual planning and feasibility to inform the scale of the project and the design. It's a multi-year project that we're hoping to conclude by the end of 26-27. Then we have the Belleville South Swimming Pool, which we had been progressing on quite proactively ahead of the last swimming season, but unfortunately, due to the aging infrastructure and a lot of underground issues with stormwater, we were not able to open up this facility. But the intention is to try and get it open again for the next summer. Then finally, we have the Belleville Soccer Facility. We're currently assessing the current condition and overall restoration and future functionality of the site, but the intention is also to reopen this. Then just to move on to the next section, which is our sports facilities upgrades and refurbishments programs. So at the City of Cape Town, I think I've mentioned already, we have a 10-year community services and health infrastructure plan. And all upgrades, repairs and maintenance sort of is broken down into various categories in terms of how we approach our repairs and maintenance and upgrades. So these include obviously your ad hoc servicing and repair, which happens continuously throughout the year. There's sort of bigger rehabilitation projects, some minor repairs or upgrades work that can happen through the year, as well as some major upgrades and repairs work, and then full redevelopments. This is where we look at new and innovative ways to redesign, construct our facilities, as well as maintain maintenance in a cost-effective way. And then finally, in-depth structural and mechanical assessments. There are two sets of assessments here. We do in-depth visual assessments or in-depth full assessments. So that's our our upgrades and maintenance approach. Then in terms of developing our 10-year community services and health infrastructure plan, we look at the needs assessment of the community. So we've considered in 2020 the population data and also what the population data looks like or is predicted to be like in 2040. And using this data, we then determine which facilities or catchment areas require specific facilities. So if we look at the catchment areas with the current highest provision, we have a list there of 10 facilities, and then identifying or using the data to identify 10 catchments of greater need, we've also identified those areas over there. And that's how we sort of determine our planning. Then the top 10 nodes of need, again, this is just about determining where we already have existing facilities, and based on the population data and the needs of the community, how we develop facilities going forward. Then a quick snapshot of some of our planned upgrades and refurbishments for the upcoming 3 years, well, primarily the next current financial year and then the next 3 years. So we have a Site C stadium upgrade planned for 25-26 and 26-27, so a phased approach there. 2 million planned for additional synthetic pitches across the city. The Ocean View baseball pitch is getting some investment in the next financial year. We're obviously putting aside funds for SASRIA compliance, and then the Strandfontein Clubhouse development is seeing considerable investment over the next 3 financial years. Then in terms of our swimming pools, a lot of work is happening there. So there's a considerable replacement and additional equipment investment over the next 3 years. Our Long Street pool is getting an upgrade. Our Sea Point pool is getting an upgrade. And as I've mentioned previously, also the Vulindlela pool is on the list. So these are considerable upgrades. And it's worth noting also that the Sea Point pool and the Long Street pool are facilities that are used by the entire community. If you come to Sea Point pool, for example, in the peak of summer, you can see how residents come from all over. It really is a very prominent and well-utilized pool by all the residents of the City of Cape Town. Then looking ahead to our regional hubs and how we're investing there. So our regional recreation hubs are a cluster of sports and recreational facilities that focus on putting all the sports facilities together in one place, which we're finding creates these real hubs of recreation for the communities. It also really helps to ensure safer facilities and protect our infrastructure by having all of these in one place. So we have significant investment planned here. Mandela Park in Khayelitsha, 60 million to restore that facility. Veegieskraal in Athlone, 50 million rand to upgrade the facility there. Blue Downs, additional 30 million to restore that facility. Again, some of this work is already in progress. Our Jan Burger facility and our Westvliet facilities are all seeing significant investment. Then just some more detail in terms of the Westridge and Mitchell's Plain concept design. So we have 100 million planned to restore the facility there, which includes new athletics tracks, new clubhouse and change rooms, landscaping, replacement of synthetic pitches, and as you can see, also approximately 10% of the asset value for annual operational maintenance. And then just to note, this is some of the work in progress that I've mentioned. I actually had the pleasure of visiting these facilities a few weeks ago to see the progress. Unfortunately, the inclement weather has impacted on some of the project timelines, but we are proceeding as quickly as possible with the new athletics track at Westvliet, as well as the new athletics track at Blue Downs. The photo also to the bottom right of the Blue Downs track shows some of the new stadium seating that has also been installed at that facility. So really wonderful new athletics tracks of international quality that we're bringing to our residents in these communities and the broader athletics communities. Then just to note, one of the programs that was run by the City of Cape Town in advance of the Netball World Cup. So considerable investment into our netball facilities as well as programs to support the netball community ahead of the World Cup in Cape Town. So just to note some of that investment there. And then we have our synthetic pitch program. So the list there just includes some of our facilities where we are replacing the synthetic pitches or installing new synthetic pitches across the city, which will benefit our soccer community in the city. These are just some of the implementations that have already been completed. We have there the Hartley Vale hockey pitch, the Delft integrated recreational facility, Mannenberg, Bishop Lavis, which I also had the pleasure of visiting recently. It's looking really fantastic, as well as Mfuleni, Site B in Khayelitsha, and the Makaza integrated recreational facility, all synthetic pitches that are completed or near to completion. Then we also have the integrated recreational facility future planning and upgrades. These are phased approaches for the Belleville integrated recreation facility, as well as the Selbarau precinct in Elsie's River. Very excited about these future developments as well. And then the other note just on our swimming pools. So this is something that we've really been investing in over the last year in particular to really get them up to a high standard. So at the moment we have 36 out of 38 operational pools. That was during the 24-25 season. As I mentioned, Belleville South and Vulindlela unfortunately not open to the public. Looking ahead, we will be extending our opening dates to make sure that we're getting the full use of these facilities for the public, and also looking at extended operational hours for our community pools as well as regional and indoor pools. The major repair work has already commenced in advance of the next pool season, where we have 10 swimming pools undergoing major repair works and upgrades. Unfortunately, a lot of these pools are really old. The pumps are very old, and this ongoing maintenance is critical to ensuring that they remain open to the public. So ongoing maintenance, 27 pools fully operational with ongoing repairs and maintenance. These are just some photos of our pools at the City of Cape Town that received major upgrades and refurbishments in the last financial year. So we've got the Blue Downs indoor pool, the Sea Point regional pool, Mtonjeni community pool, which I believe had been closed for some time. So we're very excited to have that one open again. The Eastridge community pool, Retreat, Browns Farm Observatory community pool, which had also been closed for some time. So we were really happy to have that one open again. And then the Delft community pool. And then finally, Chair, we'll just close with, or sort of move on to the sort of last questions on the budget allocation. So this is just a breakdown of the facilities budget for the CapEx and OpEx for our facilities. We haven't obviously included all the specific detail, but you can see the headlines there in terms of our regional recreational hubs, our integrated recreational facilities, synthetic pitches, sports grounds, and stadia. And then the OpEx, obviously, giving detail on how what investment we're making on an ongoing basis in terms of repairs and maintenance. And then we've just broken out the swimming pool budgets as well, CapEx budget there, as well as the OpEx. And then, Chair, the last question was about the municipalities' recreational programs. So this is just some headlines in terms of our recreational strategy, obviously trying to create active, vibrant, connected communities engaged in meaningful and accessible recreational experiences. That's our main goal. And we do this through a number of programs operated by or delivered by our Recreation and Parks Department. We have our Active Kids program, our After Schools program, our Learn to Swim program, which is wonderfully successful at our swimming pools, our youth program, holiday programs, fitness program, and of course, our seniors program. The budget summary or the budget allocated there in the last financial year, just over 3 million. And in the upcoming financial year or current financial year, just over 7 million rand. So, Chair, thank you so much. I hope that really demonstrates that the City of Cape Town is making significant investment into our recreation and sports facilities. While we have faced and continue to face significant challenges, obviously, be that safety challenges with vandalism and theft, environmental challenges, the drought obviously had significant impact on our facilities management, or even the economic impact with budget constraints. We remain committed as the City of Cape Town to delivering world-class services, particularly in sports and recreation for all the residents of the City of Cape Town. Thank you, Chair. I look forward to engaging further with the committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Councillor. I don't want to be seen as trying to undermine your role, because it's not written MMC, it's councillor. So pardon me if I'm underlooking your credentials, Honorable Member. We appreciate the presentation, sweet and short, and hopefully you've made your presentation according to the submission that was made from our own side, so that the presentation is guided. However, we'll engage with the presentation after. We'll allow the questions and engagements after Nelson Mandela, because I can see that Nelson Mandela is also ready, because we wanted them to start, but we couldn't find them. However, we're going to allow them. I can see in our lobby that the Nelson Mandela mayor and the acting and the COO advocate Ngoko and Honorable Babala Lobish, you are welcomed in this engagement. We are giving the floor to yourselves now to make an introduction and also to proceed with the presentation. The floor is yours, Honorable Mayor.
The problem is that video is not linked, so.
Let's see. Thank you, Chair. If you put another quote, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Chair, we have minor technical glitches. We are not sure whether can you see us, because we are locked in one room.
Yeah, we can't see you.
But at least we can hear.
Will you flag the presentation if it's possible, or else we do that from our own side if it has been sent to assist you?
It has been sent, Chair.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to you, to the honorable members, and to the honorable minister in the room. and all participants in the meeting. We have joined the meeting as we have been invited by the committee, and I'm with the city manager, the acting city manager, Mr. Ted Pillay, Advocate Ngoko, who's the acting COO, and Mrs. Williams, the acting executive director for sports recreation. The director for sports recreation, arts and culture, and the MMC for sports recreation, arts and culture. We are joining the meeting. Our presentation will be handled by the Director for Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, but I think notably by the committee is that we have in the recent budget set aside 38.5 million for the maintenance and fixing the sporting facilities in our city. Mrs. Williams is going to get into the detail, and as well in the main, we are still struggling with the unfunded mandate that we have committed ourselves on the libraries, because they are the most vandalized facilities that we have in the city. And all of this commitment that we've made financially is coming at the backdrop of continuous vandalism. But in this financial year, we've set aside money for strengthening our safety of these facilities, so that when we spend and invest money on it, no vandalism can continue to it. I'm now going to give over to Mrs. Williams, who's the Director for Sports, Arts and Culture, to present.
Good morning, Chairperson and Honourable Minister Mackenzie, also honourable members of the Select Committee, as well as colleagues from City of Cape Town and councillors from City of Cape Town. Am I audible, and can I proceed with the presentation?
Are you struggling? Because I'm a little bit worried in terms of seeing you. Just a glimpse of it, and then you can hide your face after that if it's giving you some problems. Executive Mayor, we couldn't even see the Executive Mayor, the face. I can see that women are leading, but we must see them facially.
Okay.
Hey, Chair.
We apologize, Chair. We are still trying to find a better way of connecting to another device, so that we can be better. You can have a better view of all of us.
You can proceed in the meantime whilst we are still busy with that, then we will fine.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, as the Mayor indicated, in the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality, the provision and the function of sport and recreation resides with the Subdirectorate for Sport and Recreation, and under a department named Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture. And the Directorate of the Recreation Infrastructure. And in terms of the management, it's under a director with 2 deputy directors and senior superintendents responsible for pools, for indoor centers, as well as for sport facilities into different zones. The Nelson Mandela municipality have got different sporting facilities. And as you can see in this slide, we've got about 20 pools, but in terms of functionality, we have only 8 pools currently functional. We've got 13 indoor sports centers or multipurpose centers, of which 12 are functional and only one is non-functional. We've got different categories of sports stadia. The biggest or the highest category under the municipality's management is category B. We've got 11 stadia, 9 are functional. We've got CETA 17, but 11 are functional. We've got 12 category B sports fields, of which 12 are functional, 12 and of which 7 are functional. Sports fields category E are 8 and 4 are functional. And then we've got quite a huge number of informal sports fields, which are just open spaces where there are either rugby poles or soccer poles, a total number of 90 across the 60 wards in the city, of which 50 are functional. And basically a total number of 171 different sport facilities, of which 101 are functional. Coming to a huge number of them are non-functionalities at Algoa Park, Chetty, Dispatch, Galvandale, High Street, Westering, KwaZulu, Motherwell, Newton Park, and Riviera is in Malabar. And then also in Kariga, we've got Rosedale. They vary in sizes. Most of them are outdoor recreational pools. We only have one indoor heated pool, which is the one at Newton Park. And like I've previously indicated, quite a couple of them are non-functional, but however, 8 are functional. Then moving forward with the presentation, different pictures that we have. Algoa pool is the pool that is outdoor recreational pool. The buildings have about 20% damage. Electrical systems are damaged, as well as the mechanical infrastructure. And for now, that is why this pool is non-functional. Moving on to Chetty pool. This pool is also an outdoor recreational pool located in Ward 35, which is the Chetty area of the northern areas. The asset itself is in a fair condition, but needs rehabilitation to address the structural, mechanical, and operational deficiencies. Dispatch swimming pool is also closed. The Dispatch swimming pool is in Ward 52. It's an outdoor recreational pool. The caretaker cottage ground movement because there is clay soil, and we are currently busy addressing that through underpinning the foundation and the concrete seating, and in the process of rehabilitating the bath level. Galvandale fully operational due to his intervention. Currently, it is closed because of it being outside the pool season, but the pool is fully operational. Moving to High Street Pool, which is also a pool that is closed currently. The pool is located in Ward 51, which is in the Kariga area. The asset condition is fair, with mechanical damage estimated at 50% and electrical damage at 20%. We do have a borehole drill there, but we will do the necessary connections in order to ensure that the pool is supported by the borehole water. There are a number of upgrades required for this pool to become operational. They are located in Ward 12 in the Westering area. This pool is fully operational during the season and has been the past season. KwaZulu pool is located in Ward 21 in the KwaZulu area. It's an outdoor recreational pool, and the overall asset condition is fair. A number of capital works are required, especially renewal of the filtration system, fencing to secure the facility, as well as the electrical wiring and a number of other facilities in the pool that needs attention. We do want to you to note that a number of our facilities still have asbestos roofing and has to be replaced. Coming to Motherwell swimming pool, the pictures that you are seeing there is before the pool got vandalized of the indoor heated asset is currently in a poor condition, and there's a lot that needs to be done there to bring it to its full operation. Newton Park pool is our only indoor pool, and it is heated. This is an asset that is in a very good condition. However, it does need some minor issues that need to be attended to, like the scoreboard, the perimeter fencing, and we have to do some minor repairs on the roof structure. This is the only pool that we have for regional, national events, and where we host some of the national swimming galas. Riviera Pool is located in Ward 10, which is the Malabar area. That pool is operational during the pool season, but there are a few minor systems that need to be upgraded, like the electrical system, the mechanical infrastructure, and some of the soft services that needs to be upgraded. In Kariga, our Rosedale pool is fully operational, located in Ward 49. The asset itself is in a good condition. The building has about 10% damages in terms of the infrastructure. We have a borehole there, and we are intending to replace the purification system and replacing the dosing machine. St. George's Park swimming pool is a pool that is it's more than 80 years old. The building itself has about 50% damage, and the entire other electrical systems have been destroyed. The mechanical infrastructure has about 40% damage, and we have this pool in our current capital budget to begin to upgrade it. However, this is the pool that we have where we have a commitment from the national minister that he will assist us in restoring the pool. Trafalgar swimming pool is a pool that is also closed at the moment in Ward 13, and this pool needs significant refurbishment for it to become operational. I think we have mentioned all the issues, but I'm not going to go into detail with regard to that. The first place swimming pool is operational. The asset itself is in a good condition, and minor systems need to be upgraded, and we always have an issue with chemicals and alarm systems. Coming to the Wells Estate swimming pool in Ward 60, it's an outdoor recreational pool. The asset itself is in a fair condition, although it is vandalized, and there's a lot that needs to be done. The buildings itself is in good condition. However, the pool infrastructure needs significant improvements and rehabilitation. Zwide Pool is an operational pool located in Ward 28 in the Zwide area. The pool has been fully functional during the past pool season, and there are some minor machinery required, like the dosing machine and the Robin pump that needs a replacement. This pool is also in the budget for upgrading. The Kwanebushle pool in Kariga is the pool that has been also completely vandalized. This asset is in a poor condition, and I don't know if the minister can recall, this is the pool that he visited in March when he was in Gqeberha. Then Kings Beach Middle Pool, as well as the Kings Beach Toddlers Pools, are pools that are completely vandalized. It's outdoor pools on the beachfront, and it needs significant budget as well as rehabilitation to take place at both of those pools. The Shorterville swimming pool is one of the oldest pools as well in Ward 11. Completely vandalized, and to reinstate the pool, I think we have to make sure that there's proper security, but also where it is currently or was located is not the best location. It's not very close to the communities, and we have been saying that we need to have serious engagements with the communities before we replace this pool, because our own view was that we should relocate it. Moving on with the state of MPCs, which I am really not going to go through each one of them, if you would allow me, Chairperson, but just to mention there that all out of the 13 indoor centers and MPCs, we have only one facility that has been completely vandalized, which was in the Motherwell area, the NU29 multipurpose center. The rest are all functional. In the follow-up slides, we will see that we've got George Botha multipurpose center, Lillian Goy. Just going to browse through all of them. Raymond Mhlaba Sports Center in Motherwell, Ernest Swanepoel in Dispatch. We've got Rosedale Indoor Sports Center, Konzi Sports Center, which is in KwaNobuhle. Utnake Indoor Sports Center, which is in the more central part of Kariga. Also, State Multipurpose Center in Ward 60, also in Motherwell. Soweto on Sea, MPC, Governor Mbeki Multipurpose Center, as well as the Warmer Multipurpose Center and Tamboville multipurpose centers. I think just to mention that our multipurpose centers and indoor centers, the infrastructure is well intact, most of them, and they are accommodating and is really a needed asset in the communities where they are located. Moving on to the sports fields or the sports stadia, where we have serious challenges. Obviously, I need to mention that there are certain issues that contribute to the fact that the mostly vandalism, and then also issues of the drought that affected them. The Jababu Soccer Stadium is a facility in KwaNobuhle, and it is partially functional because of the lack of facilities in the area. We have to make the sports field available, but the buildings are vandalized. The Jubilee Sports Field in Ward 48, the clubhouse and the caretaker cottage is completely vandalized, and there are no working ablutions. We have a synthetic sports facility in the Vierplaas area, which is a soccer facility. And it is in a good condition, but the sections outside the main field has been vandalized, and it is in the process of being repaired. Zwide Stadium. Zwide Stadium is partially functional for the same reasons that I've mentioned. The lack of facilities necessitate that we make the fields available so that the teams that require the use of the facility can play their fixtures. But the buildings are vandalized, and we have started a process of rehabilitating the Zwide Stadium. The Finner Street Sports Field is in Ward 35. It's a facility that comprised of soccer fields, a rugby field, cricket. However, it's in a bad state of disrepair due to vandalism. There's a before and after picture there that you can see. New Brighton Oval is partially functional in Ward 15, also accommodating rugby, cricket, and football. Then Tembani Sports Field is in Kariga. I have just indicated the facilities that have been, really adversely affected by vandalism. But luckily, we are now busy with the process of restoring most of them. Then coming to the Dunkirk Stadium, it's a stadium that has significant historical value in the context of sport and the liberation struggle. It's a multi-purpose facility consisting of rugby, cricket, and netball and tennis facilities. Currently, we are busy engaging with the DBSA, who wants to invest 60 million rand to develop the facility into a D lab and to council for approval of a longer lease. As previously indicated, the issues that impacted on the infrastructure decline, starting with the drought. We've gone through a drought disaster that had a very negative impact, especially on our pools, because during that period they had to be closed, and pools, the water notice restricted the use of water, not only for pool facilities, but also for watering sports fields. And then that was followed by COVID-19 disaster. That was the period when most of our facilities got vandalized. Vandalism is a big challenge, lack of security. And then unfortunately, I have to state that, the municipality's insufficient operating and capital budget allocations towards sport and recreation facilities is one of the contributing factors. We've got aging infrastructure, budget cuts, and aging staff, and natural attrition has contributed to some of the decline in our infrastructure. In terms of facilities under planning and for the next 3 financial years, we've got that list of facilities. Upgrade of St. George's Pool, that was just the startup funding to ensure that all the technical investigations are properly done. Raymond Mhlaba Swimming Pool, the Chevrolet facility needs a caretaker cottage that must be rebuilt. And then, of course, the City Friends Sports Field. But that is basically the list of sporting facilities that is in the current capital budget to a total of 38.5. And most of those projects are multi-year projects, so it is also extended to the following 2 financial years. In terms of the Urban Settlement Development Grant, in the 2024-25 financial year, that was the first time that we got an allocation from this budget, a 5 million rand, which was then separated between Zwide and Jabavu Stadium upgrades. So those upgrades have started in the 23-24 financial year. We did not get any allocation. And in 25, which is in the coming financial year that has just started, we've got an allocation of 6.5 million rand. For Zwide Stadium, 3 million rand. And for the Jabavu Stadium upgrades, 3,534,780 rand. So a total USDG allocation of 11.5 over the 3 years. In terms of how the city support community sport activities, in the following slide, there is a list of all the different sporting programs in partnership with different organizations that we have implemented and supported, either through availing them with trophies, medals, as well as equipment, sporting equipment or sporting attire. And that is an annual program where we invite organizations, sporting clubs for partnership programs. So through the entire list, but you can see that we've got a strong partnership with the federations and the different sporting clubs providing the support. The city supports semi-professional sport, and we've got a couple of sporting or football clubs that participate in the ABC Motsepe League and in the National First Division. So there we are supporting those clubs annually with an amount of 70,000 Rand, except for the first two you will see is at a higher level because they participate at a higher level. I think we need to apologize for the repeat in the slide, but this is basically the end of our presentation. I think from the side of the city, we are definitely working towards positioning Nelson Mandela Bay to be a preferred sporting destination. And we've done a lot to support those federations that bring in international and national competitions into the city. We also, from time to time, proactively bid in partnership with some of the federations to host some major sporting events in the city. Chairperson, thank you. That is our presentation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor, with your collective. Indeed, you gave us necessary information in order for us to be able to engage and see how oversight work becomes effective on these both two cities. But I've made an oversight of not acknowledging AG. I must apologize because I wanted AG to come in before you, Minister, so that the AG can give us also, because a full picture on their side, not only dependent on the responses in terms of our submissions, but just to see how far are we going. AG, if we are ready, just come in before the minister. I will give you honorable members because I want us to have a conclusive report, and then so that when we're engaging, inclusive of all the information that is available to us. Can the AG come in pardon me of not acknowledging your presence with us since you've arrived? Thank you very much, AG. The floor is yours. Is the AG still around? Okay, if the AG is not around, can the Honorable Minister
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. So let me start with the MEC of the Western Cape. Let me first praise the MEC. I went to look at the facility in Menenberg. It is truly something we should emulate as sports-loving people in this country, the work that has been done there. And I'm excited for the plans, particularly the pools, because a pool for me, Honorable Chair, it keeps children away from mischief. So when I see the plans that are being made and money budgeted for pools, I'm very passionate about pools because it's also a life-saving. I recently, Chair, I was shocked when I found out how many people are drowning in South Africa. And when you teach people from a young age to swim, I think that's commendable. But I would also like the MEC just to have a meeting with the MEC and yourself, Chair, if we can look at this issue of the Belleville Velodrome. You know, at the moment, it only takes 200 people. It only takes 200 people, which I think it wasn't for that was not intended purpose. So if we can find a lasting solution to the problem. Other than that, I will add my last sentence when I'm done speaking about the Eastern Cape. You know, to the mayor, the executive mayor, thank you for your fastness. Whenever we want to assist there, you don't waste time in making sure that the process runs smoothly. But also, Kwano Buhle, my heart was broken when I went there and I made a promise that I'm going to fix Kwano Buhle. I cannot, as a minister, in true honesty, see what happened in Kwano Buhle, Honorable Chair, and walk away from there. So I am still standing by the promise. We are waiting. You know, we all know, everybody knows that there's been some delays with our budgets. I, for one, have not had my budget passed yet. But what I've done in the meantime, I've spoken to a company to assist us with Kwano Buhle. So Kwano Buhle, we must fix. It's in the heart of the community. You walk in that community, old people say, old people in Kwano Buhle comes to you and they say, please, my child, please fix this for our children, please. So I want to reiterate again my promise that Kwano Buhle will be fixed very soon. And say just the last point I want to raise is the issue of Mayor, you know, you must be and MEC, you must be very clear on this issue where money should not be used for other purposes when it comes to sporting facilities. There's a tendency, and not referencing yourself here, but there's a tendency where money gets diverted. It's an illness in South Africa where money meant for the upgrade of sporting facilities, that money is being diverted sometimes even to pay salaries due to the lack of proper budgeting by state officials. It is being seen as an easy target to move or redirect sporting funds in South Africa. We will not tolerate that because we are stealing the dreams of children. I still maintain a kid in sport is a kid out of court. I believe that I'm a witness to many instances where children has been involved in sport and then end up doing mischief like ourselves or like myself. So if we can just make sure that that is the issue. And the last point here is this issue of having nice facilities, but the security working there. And I don't know, is this the platform, but sometimes you get, it will be Zimbabwean working there that there's no allegiance to the area, doesn't even know the people in the area. Can we please, with tears in my eyes, I'm asking officials, the security is equally important as the facility. Because with this, we are building facilities for Nyaupe Erics to just come and we are sustaining the bad habit, by building these facilities without proper security. So if we can look at that, Honorable Chair, and with that, I want to congratulate both presentations. I've learned a lot, and I've also added one or two things I need to assist with on top of the ones I've mentioned. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
You very much, Honorable Minister. Hopefully, when we are attending this match on the weekend, we will visit some of these facilities.
We must go together, Chair. Sorry, Chair. We must go together.
Yes. I also want to, because I also want to plead with you, as you are doing with Kwanobuhle, Denglaka Stadium, as it had been highlighted, but I do not agree with the presentation. The presentation is very, very, stingy with regard to the information on Denglaka, because I know that an amount of 60 million have been committed to that particular infrastructure revamp already around 2023-2024 financial years, and it's a resolution of the council. Partnership is already there. Nelson Mandela must tell us explicitly what is the hold up. We can't keep quiet, specifically when there is money that has been committed, TPSA, NPOs, and also with the necessary board that is looking after that facility. I know that Nelson Mandela collective leadership, the council leadership, have been championing this. So we want to know, we must be given necessary information so that we can be able to assist. Also, the Honorable Minister can also be at the forefront of ensuring that we can't continue with these things only on papers, but they must be practically on the ground. So that information that we're given in terms of Dendrate is not assisting, and I would plead that we are given necessary information so that we know how much is needed. And also, Kwanobuhle, we must know how much the minister must come up with. It can't be as if it's zero budget. That is we know, so that the interventions of the minister become meaningfully than So I will allow other members. I will come out later in terms of other engagements. I will allow members, because I can see that they have been wanted to engage on these reports, both Western Cape and I mean both the City of Cape Town and Nelson Mandela Metro. Thank you very much for the presentations once again, indeed, and also the commitments from the minister. Honorable Letitia, you are the first one. Honorable Duplessis, Honorable Jean Adrianse. Any other member that wants to engage will be allowed to do so before we get responses. Honorable Letitia, you are the first one. You are recognized. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, I just have a few. I just need clarity on the exec roles and the responsibilities.
Honorable Letitia, so that you are known by these two cities, just click of your face and then you can hide it.
My network is a bit bad, Chairperson. My humble apologies for that. Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue if you don't want to proceed.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, I think we just need clarity on exactly what roles and responsibilities of all the partners in terms of the delivery of water safety education programs. And they must please share the schedule of upcoming water safety education programs along with clarity on all the partners involved in such, Chairperson. And then I would like to ask for Nelson Mandela Bay. They had indicated 60% out of 12 out of 20 of the pools within the metro are non-functional. And the reason stated there in their presentation, vandalism multiple times, while there's also notes fencing and fence repairs and servicing turnstiles and access control and alarm installation is needed. And then multiple wards. And then Chairperson, the City of Cape Town, out of 36, out of the 38 is operational swimming pools. And during the season so far, can they please provide us a report and with dates when that person that is the senior superintendent of pools was appointed chairperson? And then also in terms of the infrastructure and the vandalism, we would also like them to share the details and the dates by clarifying the actions taken in terms of opening police cases and report the vandalism and other, opinions. Sorry, Chairperson. And then, Chairperson, there's, I just want to check, do all the schools in the city of Cape Town and Nelson Mandela Bay offer sports? And if so, they must provide us a breakdown of the sport codes offered in all the schools. And then how are all the schools supported in terms of the resources and the facilities, especially in impoverished areas? And then also, we would like to know, how does the municipality and the department monitor and use the use of resources and facilities provided to schools? And do the facilities at grassroots level show any impact on the quality of athletes? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Felicia. In that order.
Thank you, Chair, and good day to the Honourable Minister, MECs as well, MMCs as well as the Mayor. Most of my questions relate to both the City of Cape Town and the City of Nelson Mandela Bay. And I would like to start with saying maintenance is cheaper than rebuilding. And I think some of these facilities in Nelson Mandela Bay have had a lot of investment over years, but it hasn't been used for maintenance. But the specific questions will come as I go through. Sports is incredibly important for the mental health as well as physical health of our youth, as we are aware. So do schools have access? Honorable Ares did ask this question as well. So do schools have access to the various sports facilities? The sports facilities within the lower LSM areas in the various cities seem to be reasonably good in the City of Cape Town. However, in Nelson Mandela Bay, all of the broken swimming pools are found in lower LSM areas. Could we get some explanation on this from the City of Nelson Mandela Bay? For both cities, the community engagement per project, what has taken place, and we did see a plan for the growing population in the City of Cape Town. Is there a plan in place for Nelson Mandela Bay? The impact on the community within the recreational hubs, what has been done to have for inclusion within sports? Which programs have been run both in City of Cape Town and Nelson Mandela Bay? Then with regards to employment on the various projects, have local people been employed within the City of Joburg? I'm aware of various allegations where people have to give their party membership first before they get employment in these projects. And what was the tender process for these projects in both of the cities? I am concerned about the amount of informal facilities. I do understand that informal facilities do happen. This is in Nelson Mandela Bay. And what is being done to assist with these informal facilities to ensure safety for the students and the children who are using these informal facilities? There is a very large number of non-functional sports facilities within Nelson Mandela Bay. And the reason for this was vandalism. So for Nelson Mandela Bay, what are you doing to address vandalism? City of Cape Town, what are you doing to address vandalism, as it is an issue within both cities and, in fact, all the cities that have presented to us? And if we could share best practice, we could maybe improve sports facilities throughout the cities of South Africa. The asbestos roofing in many of the facilities, could we find out when this was first reported and if any money has been budgeted for this over the past few years to remove the asbestos within Nelson Mandela Bay Metro? Then the last question is just a comment, Honourable Chair. It is about the additional questions from the other metros that we haven't received answers to, if we could follow that up as well. Thank you, Chair.
In that order, Honourable.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. I can't start my video, so it's fine. I want to start with Nelson Mandela Bay, also. In the beginning of the presentation, we heard that libraries were the most vandalized, yet in the presentation itself, we didn't see much of that. And that was an interesting concept for me, because why were the libraries the most vandalized? Yet, I wish I counted how many times I heard the words vandalized in this presentation from the Nelson Mandela Bay. It's really, it shook me to the core, because where is the security in this, and why isn't there proper caretaking of these expensive facilities? Because to rebuild is much more expensive than to maintain. And every time it's the building and there's nothing left of the building, and there's nothing left of the electrical equipment, it's really, really not good enough when you think it's taxpayers' money. It's actually 40.3% of all the facilities that's available. That's non-functional. That's almost half of it. So, and to after 5 years still blame it on COVID-19. What happened in between in these 5 years? The drought I absolutely have sympathy for, and I understand. But what happened to the budget during COVID-19? Was it rolled over? That's not clear. And surely, if it wasn't spent, what happened to it? And the budget cuts, basic maintenance must never be involved in a budget cut. Maintenance must come first, and a certain percentage, usually between 7.5 and 8.5% of the budget, must go to that. So what consequence management followed in the event of all these vandalism, or was it a free-for-all? This is pointed directly at Nelson Mandela Bay. I can't see that a place is falling apart like this while I spent most of my very young years there holidaying and enjoying this beautiful town. Then, thank you to Western Cape, which is absolutely a breath of fresh air in their presentation. Nelson Mandela Bay is typical of so many places in the Northwest, everywhere. And here comes Western Cape, and we have a plan, we have a maintenance plan, we have recreation programs, and I really want to thank you for that. As far as the school's involvement, I always wonder about this when we get to that. Is it clubs that are involved, for instance, with the swimming programs? Is it swimming clubs that are involved? Or is it the schools themselves with teachers who's training the children with safety programs? For instance, I'm just using that as an example. Who is running the water safety program? Do we have capable teachers doing that? Or is it external parties doing that? And then, yeah, compliments, that's all I actually have. And then the scouting of the talent pool for both Nelson Mandela Bay and Cape Town with NGOs. Is that really happening? We know that the Monaco reports stated that we can have a lot of talent hiding amongst NGOs. Can you give us some examples of talent coming from both programs in both areas? I thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. That's it from me.
Thank you, Honourable Adrian. Honourable Bench.
Good morning, Chairperson. This is me. I'm not a robot, so I'm going to switch off my camera now. Thank you. Chairperson, Honourable Minister, and all the respective officials, thank you very much for a very good presentation. I was now swambling around because some of my colleagues already asked the questions that I wanted to ask, and I'm sure that the panel will definitely come back to our concerns. I would like today to address the Minister. I'm residing in the Western Cape, very far from Cape Town in Matikava. And I'm so glad to hear that the Minister is mentioning about monies that should be used for the purpose that it is provided. Because my concern, Minister, is right at the moment, I've heard that you congratulate the Western Cape. Yes, congratulating the Western Cape for having all these resources in the city of Cape Town, but not in impoverished areas. Honorable Minister, I was a councillor, and I know that money is allocated for establishment of sport facilities was, as you correctly said, for salaries. When I take you back, you handed over recently sport facilities in Matsikama. All the plans were there. Last week, I saw that the supporters do not have a podium in this winter session where it is a rugby season. Whereas I know that monies were allocated for a stadium. So what I want to know, Minister, is when you took up this position, I'm sure that you were asking for a proper audit for all these municipalities. And I would like to know, Minister, if it is so, do you maybe have an audit explanation for us so that we know which municipalities are up upstandard, which municipalities does not step up? Because rural areas specifically, we need, like you said, sport. A child in sport is a child out of court. That is to the Minister. Then I would like to know by both of the municipalities about the district development model. Like one of my colleagues said, every now and then it's about vandalism. And also the Minister mentioned about the security, which is a concern for him, because it is a concern. So I would like to know by the two municipalities, they need to clarify to us how the DDM is buying into these vandalism problems that they have. And then also on slide 57, it notes, especially, I'm now speaking to the Western Cape. There's a total budget of 763,200 rand concerning two clubs. I want to know, how do they use it to upskill these clubs? Do they use it to for development and training, or where is it going to? Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm done.
Honorable Sibande.
Thank you, Chairperson, to give me this opportunity. Mine is one belong, just only one to Western Cape. Chairperson, I wanted to maybe to be taken on board I'm happy because the minister is here, and the minister is very passionate about sports activities everywhere in the country. But my problem is about this, the Mandela Park Stadium in Kailish. I recall when the ANC was celebrating its anniversary at Mandela Park of 113 years. I couldn't believe my eyes because it was for my first time to be in that stadium. It's not a stadium, it's so-called stadium. Now, hence the budget has been given, and yes, you know, my problem is that what is it? Some of the sections are neglected, are not get proper services, while there are sections which are given priority number one. Like if you compare that ground, it's not a stadium. If you call it's called a stadium, but it's a ground. If you compare it, not very far, like Athlon Stadium, there's a vast difference. Is it because of the color of the skin, or what is it exactly? Why is so backward like this? Because it's right in the township. And you know what motivates sports is also the playground or the facilities which is nearer to the kids. They are motivated and become more in terms of players and alike. That is the only one. I don't want anything else. Thank you, person.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sabanda. Thank you very much, honorable members. Before that, I can allow the presentation, the responses, just also to get some also an opportunity, some bite to sit to two cities. The first one is around it's a hybrid question, but this one is the question of security. Profiles to both cities. Especially in these areas that are high risk, because both of presentation are talking about the question of vandalism on what have already been done and so on. So just to get that in, so that we can be able to know what is it that is fixable and what is not fixable, on the facilities that have been made, because it's critical that we must have those, and then also how do you ensure that you are securing it if they are being vandalized, and then also your maintenance plan. I think you must have proper maintenance of these facilities, so that you do not restart a rebuild on what we have already, as we have been shown here, that there are some of these facilities recently built, but they still need to be rebuilt, not to be repaired, because of, they have been vandalized up until to a ground level. So they need to be rebuilt. I'm not talking about those who need, repairs. So those are the question is generic to both cities, your city of Cape Town and also Nelson Mandela. The second part, of it, to Nelson Mandela, receiving a small amount, because 11 million is nothing, as per presentation that have been made regarding the question of a high number of non-functioning facilities. Why are you receiving this amount, in the form of USDG grant? Otherwise, if you are given this small amount, you will forever have this kind of a problem, with regard to these facilities. I just want to know, and then also I don't hear the specific in terms of when these facilities are going to be fully functioning. Once certain amount resources are allocated. I'm just hearing that these are the amounts that are going to be, facilities that need repairs, but there are no exact time frame as to their functionality. Also, I don't see Ward 40 because there are two facilities there in Ward 40. I know the other one needs the question of it drainage because there is water that is consistently, flowing to the field. It makes the field now, unplayable. The other one, I think, is in the middle of the township. It's closer. It's in Keija. The facilities also is the most used facility, but it is not properly and well-maintained facility. I just want to hear that. On the question of St. George's, I think it goes back to the question of high risk because St. George's facility is one of the beautiful facilities that was built, but the question of maintenance is in high risk. We know that is located outside, but the question of security, as I've raised it there, the question of security to safeguard that particular, and also general maintenance that you might need to that particular area. We know the purposes of this. We talk about also the ones that are, the use and purposes of those. So it's equally to all of these facilities that we are having in our township areas that we do not find consistent and proper maintenance plan and also to secure those types of facilities. I just wanted to check specifically with regard to those particular questions. Yes, that's all I wanted to check. Then some of these issues, as we are making, we are making an undertaking as this committee that will follow, especially to those that we believe that are in high risk and are not, areas. We want to see them progressing. Then that question that have been raised of facilities, of school facilities versus your local clubs, I think it's very necessary that it must also be highlighted so that when we talk about the school facilities, sports school facilities, we see if there is a program. There is a progress in terms of the partnership, that one you might want to have, so that because it's a continuous program, that one, you can't divorce the one. It goes also beyond the question. The question of libraries also that one might want, or you might have, as Honorable Minister raised that a busy child, in terms of your sporting development, is very progressive child than the one that does not have anything to do, that ended up committing, some of the social problems that we are currently confronted. You won't have these programs, your awareness campaigns, but at the ground you are having nothing. Then your awareness campaign are just lip service. They must also be, incorporated with practical programs in order to address that. So those are the issues. But I will request from both cities in the responses that we will be getting can be further expatiated so that we keep we keep them in our archives. When we're doing these, oversights, we can be able to question per facility that you said this facility is at this level, but when we are coming here practically, it's totally different in terms of what we're getting. Can we request that we must get that information in the written form within 7 days? We will also further submit further issues that we want as a point of clarity from these different cities. But we need now, for now, responses. Thank you very much. I will start with the City of Cape Town as you started with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, just interest of protocol, can you please advise, can I just go through all the questions and address, through you, Chair, respond to the honourable members, or would you, and also just bring in the officials when I need them to answer or to give some supporting information? Would that be suitable?
Yes, that will be fine. So that those people, you see, when we are being misled, we must hold a particular person liable for that, so that we do not, hold to honourable member instead of an official. But before that, can I allow the honourable minister, because I see that there is a hand of honourable minister here.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As I've mentioned, I am still going to have another meeting, Honorable Chair, at the beginning. But Chair, can I please just answer the questions briefly? There's 3 questions that I think I don't want to be accused of not answering the questions before the Honorable Member. With your permission, Chair.
Yes, you are granted, honourable minister.
Thank you so much, Chair. I think, Chair, the first one is I will offline after this so we can make arrangements to go and see the facility that you spoke about, the stadium. We can do it maybe a day before Friday, if that's fine with you, Chair, but we will just compare diaries. We can do it this week still, Chair. That's the first issue that was mentioned. The second issue you mentioned, Honorable Chair, it is the budget for KwaNobuhle. I have sent the team down, Honorable Chair, to go and ascertain how much this will cost us. And I think yesterday they filed the report of KwaNobuhle. I will share that report with you, Honorable Chair, before the end of tomorrow. The report of KwaNobuhle, so that you can also be abreast of the cost that is involved. That's the second issue. The third issue is the issue of Khayelitsha Sports Ground vis-a-vis Etlung Stadium that was also mentioned by the Honourable Member. Honourable Member, I would gladly love to also visit you are not the first person to have mentioned. In fact, we've had people from Khayelitsha telling us the facility is in a state. So if we can treat that the same as we are treating my visit to the Eastern Cape, to go and have a look at the facility and see what we can do. Then lastly, Honourable Chair, the Honourable Member was talking about Matikama and me praising the Western Cape. I just want to make a correction there, Honourable Chair. I've praised firstly the presentations, but I've also praised Menenberg because that facility is truly, for me, what places like Menenberg needs. I partly grew up in Menenberg, so to see such facilities, we've never seen that in all the years in Menenberg. So to see those type of facilities where family members of mine live in Menenberg, I would visit there during holidays, and to see those facilities now, it's truly worth mentioning and worth praising. Lastly, Honorable Chair, Matikama, the budget, in as far as when I became the minister, that thing for me was moving too slowly. That's why we had to intervene as the ministry for it to open. I will go back now and go and make sure that the issue of the pavilion that was mentioned by the honorable member, I want to see what it budgeted for and what happened to that money, or is it still a work in progress? And if it is a work in progress, it shall happen promptly. Then the member spoke about Nelson Mandela Bay, that Nelson Mandela Bay is in a state, and Nelson Mandela Bay is not like Cape Town. Chair, I just want to caution the member to just lower her voice in as far as that allegation is concerned. Because when we look at Nelson Mandela Bay, you look at the whole of Nelson Mandela Bay. But when we look at Cape Town, we look at sometimes certain places. If you go to Langa, Guguletu, Elsie's, Mitchell's Plain, I can take the honorable member to facilities that is worse than the facilities in Nelson Mandela Bay. So instead of trying to lecture other provinces, let us first make sure our province is perfect. So, Honorable Chair, with those words, I want to say to all members here that when it comes to these facilities, I don't play politics. I don't play politics. That's why already Matikama can say I've done something. I've done something in Nelson Mandela Bay. I've done something in Cape Town, did something in Northwest. So for us, for me and the ministry and the people at DSEC, it is about sporting facilities. We are going to fix our sporting facilities during my term. So, Honorable Chair, with that and with your permission, Chair, because of my other meeting, I had to come here and stop that. I also have questions to answer there. If I can be excused at this point, Chair, and I will watch and listen later to the same what was said in my absence.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We appreciate your engagement and also the commitment that you are making. Responsive, practical indeed. That's what we are appreciating as a committee. As we've said that some of the issues will be engaged on a constant basis. So we appreciate that. Can we allow now the responses, Honorable Francine? Pardon me, I have a stiff tongue. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chair. And again, I just really want to reiterate these are excellent questions that have been raised by the honourable members. And I think they highlight some of the significant challenges that we're facing in terms of providing sports and recreational facilities to our residents, but also opportunities to highlight some of the good work that's being done. And I really do appreciate this opportunity. Sorry that the Minister has left us now, but I do hope he listens online afterwards to my responses to his questions. So I also want to note that I'm sorry that I missed him when he visited our Mannenberg facilities. We are very proud of those. I know we worked really hard in particular to get the swimming pool open in Mannenberg, and I look forward to possibly taking a dip with him if he fancies when he visits Cape Town again, and we can showcase some of our pools and other facilities when he is back in town. He also highlighted the issue of the Belleville Velodrome. We'd be happy to engage, obviously, with the mayor as well to discuss that property. The current situation is really not ideal. We agree, and we are working as hard as we can. This is certainly a priority for us to find a way forward on the Belleville Velodrome. Unfortunately, to sort of fully restore that facility will be a significant cost of estimated up to 300 million rand to the city, which is not money that is readily available. And so we are conducting feasibility studies and trying to determine a way forward in respect to the Belleville Velodrome. But it is open. The velodrome itself, indoor facility, is open still for events with fewer than 2,000 people. Then in respect of security, I mean, this is a question that I think every single member raised. It is a massive concern for us, and it is incredibly frustrating to be investing in facilities for communities, particularly those in need or lower LSMs, to only see the facilities vandalized. The member Sabanda, I think, mentioned the Nelson Mandela Park. I actually had the benefit of visiting that recently myself and met with the local councillors as well as the officials that work on that property. And we stood there for ages just trying to work out, what are the best solutions for securing this facility? And I can't tell you how often we stand there trying to, so frustrated by the investment, particularly around security that is made in those facilities. And yet it still seems to not be vandal proof. If we put fencing in, palisade fencing, it gets removed. If we put fibercrete walls in, the panels get removed. And now we're just looking at solid walls, which is not an ideal solution for our communities. We want our facilities to be warm and welcoming and not brick concrete structures. But these are the challenges that we face. And one of the things, and I'm sure our I'll hand over to our officials, to our ED as well, just to talk about some of the implications. But we're constantly looking at ways to work together with the community to ensure the safety of these facilities, which are essentially for them. So whether that's working with our sports bodies and sports organizations, obviously either entering into lease arrangements or into management agreements to give ownership to the community for these facilities so that we're all working together. We also work with local neighborhood watchers and local law enforcement and SAPs to monitor these facilities and respond as quickly as possible. But there are huge cost implications. I cannot begin to tell you on how much we're spending either on security or infrastructure like fencing to protect these facilities. So an ongoing challenge, and I will hand over to our ED in a bit to also come in on that issue of security. Then to touch on, I think the Honourable Member, and forgive me, from the EFF, I think Honourable Member Letitia raised the point, an important point as well about water safety programs. So we have a wonderful program at the City of Cape Town, which I'm so proud of. It's called Learn to Swim. And we run that annually with the summer season. It's predominantly run by our lifeguards. We're actually in the process now of recruiting some of those lifeguards, and we're very proud of our lifeguards and the work that they do not only at our pools but also along our coastal precincts and our beaches as well to keep people safe over the summer season. And they run our Learn to Swim program. So they are well equipped and well trained. And I've also had the pleasure of attending some of those Learn to Swim programs, which has been such a wonderful experience just to see the joy on our young children's faces as they sort of play in the water and just have fun, and also at the same time are reminded about water safety. And this is so critical to preventing drownings over the summer season. So we have, I think, we've mentioned already 36 of our pools that are operational, and at all those facilities we run these Learn to Swim programs, majority by lifeguards, but also in partnership with local clubs and organizations, and then they're done with the schools. So while the schools aren't necessarily running the programs, in some cases we obviously bring the kids from the neighboring schools to those programs. Then there's a number of questions around the access to schools for use of the sports facilities. I'll also hand over to our ED and our officials to talk a little bit more about that engagement. But all our facilities are available through a book and play process. So obviously where we have lease agreements in place or management agreements, the organization would engage with them to book the facility. But where the city is still managing the facility, we run a book and play program, book and play process where they access those facilities. And over the last, over the years, we allow these facilities to be accessible to all our schools within the Cape Town area for athletics meets and all sorts of other sporting events. So that is available whenever they need it. Then there were some questions around community engagement per project. So thank you for that question. Every single sort of major infrastructure project, and again, our officials can give more details on this, but we run extensive public participation processes, and this is really important to us as a city. Again, it's about giving communities ownership, about identifying their needs, finding out what they really want from these sports facilities and how they're going to utilize them to make sure that our investments are valuable now and well into the future. There were some questions, I think, also around employment of locals and tender processes. I'm going to leave that question to our ED and the team to answer that. And then I think some of the other questions, I'm just reading through my list here, there were quite a lot. There was some question around the investment of facilities in Matakama. Just as a point of clarity, I'm only the MMC for the City of Cape Town, and any sort of further questions around provincial sports structures or investments in other areas could be directed to those municipalities. I think the comment made by, I think, Honourable Member Baines, a child in sport is a child out of court. Such an important point made there. I think that's why the City of Cape Town takes such pride in our facilities and such pride in our recreational programs. These programs are so critical to keeping our young people engaged and off the streets and out of crime. And, we're continuously working to engage with local organizations as well about where the needs are and how we can better provide those services. As indicated in the presentation, we've got quite a number of programs that we run, and this is in addition to the programs being run by our local libraries, as well as the programs also being run by our community arts and culture development. We run extensive sort of arts and culture programs as well, all of which is sort of a package for our young people in the city of Cape Town to help them develop and grow and learn leadership skills and just give them better opportunities. Then there was a question about, I just want to make sure, I think I've touched on Mandela. I just want to touch on Mandela Park Stadium. Again, I did have the opportunity to visit that facility. I think that was a question there. I have sort of detailed how we are also investing 30 million in upgrades, and specifically into athletics track, and then also looking at the grandstand itself, which we know needs considerable investment. So, Chair, if I may, I'd like to hand over to my ED, Zukiswa, just to speak a little bit more about security and the challenges we face there, as well as the questions around employment of locals and tender processes, and then questions around engagement with schools, as well as scouting talent pool with partner NGOs. I see Zuki is online. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, MMC. In an effort to be seen, I've also got two technology. I've got my phone and the laptop. I hope they're not going to clash with each other. But so I'll touch on a couple of questions as well, just to add and bring a little bit of depth as well and details in terms of the questions asked. So I think it's a running theme with us and also with Nelson Mandela Bay around vandalism being a problem. It is a widespread problem, and in solving it, the city, we've taken a step back to say, this is not a problem you solve per facility. This is a problem you look at it widely as an organization, because it's not only our sports and recreation facilities that gets attacked and vandalized, but all the facilities of the city. We're talking about clinics, we're talking about our PTIs, we're talking about mostly of the facilities that have value, where some community members and criminal elements see, a value for themselves. So the city strategy is twofold. One is to say, currently we offer services through private security. So there's a tender that goes out, and the city does provide those private security services. But also we are looking in terms of the law enforcement officers to say we need to bring a hybrid of both services in terms of the profile of what kind of securities do we offer. Because we realize that our private securities, they are targeted. And but our law enforcement officers, when they're around as well, and there's a hybrid of mixture in terms of provision of services, that there's less attack on our law enforcement officers. And so the city had to take a step back and say, we actually need to have a specific strategy around facilities. So the city has designed a facility protection officers program, which is meant to focus around facilities themselves to ensure that we augment the current private securities that are there, but also over time be able to say, how do we deploy more law enforcement officers and less private security? And from a director perspective, as community services and health, we had to take a strategy as well to say, we're no longer going to continue into the future investing into standalone facilities. We want to move towards precincts. That's why you saw in our presentation, we talked about integrated recreation facilities and hubs. We want, because when we have facilities in a precinct model, we are able to ensure that we generate economies of scale in terms of the security that we provide, but also because there will be multi-departments that are in that precinct, then we are able to also save in terms of cost. Because if only as recreation and parks had to just look at investment, it becomes quite a lot in terms of a security provision. So the precinct model is one aspect that we're looking at it, and layering that with ensuring that the facility protection officers program, which is within our safety and security, is in addition to ensure that we do have that additional layer. But also ongoingly, we talk about reinforcement in terms of ensuring technology, so surveillance in our facilities, cameras, but also ensuring that the type of materials that we use are vandal-proof. So how do we harden the facilities themselves so that the barrier to entry is high, the technology is there to ensure that there is surveillance, but also to ensure that there's presence. So there's multi-layers of strategies that we needed to deploy to ensure we get to the point of really winning this war around vandalism. And I think in addition to that, because of vandalism, so you find that our facilities that we will invest in all the improvements, but in some cases you find that when we go back, and because the security perhaps was not sufficient, we needed to redo certain aspects. And that is why for us, we shared in our presentation that the entire redevelopment and maintenance of our facilities is a long-term goal. It's a long-term plan. It's not a once-off, then we're done, we move on. It's progressive and it's long-term and it's ongoing. So our infrastructure plan, which is over 10 years, is looking at to saying the facilities that we are working on now, how do we ensure that we don't go back? So how do we ensure that from security perspective, we continue to strengthen that, but also those that we still need to get to, how do we ensure that we fast track our goals into getting. So we do have a 10-year plan around that, and it includes both proactive maintenance and reactive maintenance. So proactive is where we're saying we don't need to only repair when there's vandalism. We need to proactively say there's a risk in this aspect, but also the standard of the facilities, they need to be well standards. How do we ensure that proactively we've got that? Part of the work that we've done as part of my brief this year from a strategic intent is to develop that proactive maintenance plan to say, what does that look like from a budget perspective? Because generally over the years, the budget has not been allocated in such a way that there is focus on facility. We get capital investment, we get repairs and maintenance, but ongoing maintenance, we find that we fell short in terms of budget. So again, part of budgeting strategies to ensure that we are not selling ourselves short around the long-term aspects of that. I also want to pick up on velodrome. I think the response has been provided adequately. Just to add also to the Honourable Minister in terms of velodrome, because we know that with velodrome we still need to do feasibility studies and long-term plans around how do we then deal with that facility. In slide 14 of our pack, you will see that there's a list of facilities where we've identified where we're going to do redevelopments, and Jan Smuts, which is about 7 kilometers from a velodrome, is part of those that we are in over the MTREF. We investing over 100 million to ensure that we get it to a point where the facilities that are not available at velodrome, which is your athletic tracks, they are able to be available further down, and it's not too far in terms of access for all the users of that facility. So that's a way of also ensuring that while we have a facility that could really still provide services to broader and wider community, but how do we ensure that we don't and close off the opportunity and invest in the one that's close by? So Jan Smuts, you will see it in the pack that we do have details in that. Similar to slide 14, and I want to talk to Honourable Sibanda around the Mandela Park. So as mentioned, that in terms of maintenance, it's ongoing and it's progressive. So at the time you might have visited the facility, it might have been a certain state. Work has been done in this financial year as part of our progressive plan. And what we've done this year, we've included some floodlights, and we've installed those. We've also done some synthetic pitch. And ongoing again this year and into the MTREF as well, we've identified what maintenance programs we're going to be doing in the facility. But in slide 14 of our pack, you will see that Mandela Park is listed together with Jan Smuts and all the facilities in terms of what are we investing into them as an ongoing program to ensure that we maintain the standard. One of the biggest factors that affects us as well, and it's really the SASRIA compliance. SASRIA compliance is quite expensive to maintain. That's now if we want our facilities to be used by 2,000 plus people. How do we make sure that the OHS provisions are met, and how do we ensure that within the SASRIA we are able to comply? Quite a lot of an onerous process that we need to follow, which we've done, and that's why we've given in the pack the list of which facilities are we putting, because each year we've costed that we need up to 1 million a pop to be able to ensure that we maintain those facilities for SASRIA compliance. And so you're competing with compliance around increasing the volume of people that you can be able to take in a facility, together with the fact that you need to maintain that facility. So it becomes quite a challenge around the competing priorities. So again, that's something that we on our side continue to look at, because we want our facilities to be able to accommodate way more than 2,000 people, but we do realize the cost which are related to compliance with SASRIA. So that's another aspect that we continue to fight with. The tender process in terms, I think there was a question around tenders and how do we ensure that local labor is also catered for in terms of the project that we do. I'll just make an example of the swimming pool tender, and I will hand over to Nabil, who is the facility manager, and he then deals with all the tenders and he can give additional details. But in terms of the tendering process, we follow the normal SCM process, but at the implementation, obviously, the service providers are required to ensure that they do use local labor. And so part of the tendering process and part of the SCM process, those are catered for. With the challenges around tenders, what we found is that with some of these facilities, for instance, the swimming pool, we had the swimming pool tender for the first time ever in the history of the city in 2023. And I think it was the first one in the country, if I'm not mistaken, where we realized that we can't keep on using a plumbing tender from facilities, electric tender from energy, and different tenders within the city. We needed a dedicated tender. So that was, again, another strategic move to say, if we really are intentional around improving our facilities, we really need to ensure that the tools that we use, the provisions of the instruments through the tenders actually enabled us to do that. So that tender became online in 2023. And we learned a lot of lessons around how the specification was, because it was our first time doing it. What can we improve in terms of what was sitting in there? Now that we've implemented it, going back to the tendering process, now we've learned some lessons around what other aspects do we need to include in these, and how do we make sure that the efficiency and the panel of service providers that are in this actually have the required skills. But all those lessons have really enabled us to be able to ensure that next time we're going around, which is we're now in the process of drafting specifications for the subsequent tender, for the replacement tender, we then are going to be able to ensure that we implement those lessons learned. But if you can allow us, Chair, I want to hand over to Mr. Nabil Basadin, who can go to additional details. And I think just additional comments around the scouting, how to work with schools. And I think there's quite a lot of questions that came around that. And I'm sure the members will appreciate that detail, but also generally how to work with sports club. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Edie. Good afternoon, Honourable Chair, members, Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay and colleagues of Nelson Mandela Bay. Just to add on to what Edie has mentioned and MMC, with regards to various, I think there was questions around various sporting codes. Obviously, our facilities caters for a multitude of sporting codes, soccer, cricket, swimming, athletics.
Sorry, Mr. Nabil. Yeah, you.
Tennis, we even got golf, driving ranges, recreation programs, which is youth programs, senior programs, junior programs, facilities, and at our community halls as well. We have right through to dance, etc. Can you hear me now, Chair?
You can proceed. You can hear now.
Thank you, Chair. So just to recap, we do cater for a multitude of sports. When it comes to partnering of sports, there's various partnership opportunities that the city partner with, from foundation to grassroots. There's the well-known Bale soccer tournament that is hosted collaboratively with SAFA, and it's obviously a national soccer tournament that's annually held. That's also partnering through the development of sport from grassroots right through to the top level of professional sport. There's also various other elements from junior programs that SAFA partners on with the city, and there's various other federations that the city partners with in terms of investing into the particular programs, which contributes to the development of the sport at various levels. And these obviously takes place at City of Cape Town facilities as well. So that's partnering opportunities. Then also we do have other stakeholder partnering opportunities through, I think touched on it, through our sports asset management policy. Those are municipal facility management agreements. There's also lease agreements, and there's also other type of forms of occupancy agreements that allows people access, be it NGOs, be it NPOs, be it community clubs, be it schools, etc. We do also partner with DCAS. We have annual or quarterly engagements with departments, with the Department of Culture, Cultural Affairs and Sport at a provincial level. We do also in that same conversations, be it Western Province Schools Athletics, a very strong relationship with those federations. We have strong relationships with SAFA, with Western Province Rugby, all linked to schools programs as well, sports facilities, mainly the athletics and also soccer facilities. So there's a continuous partnership and collaboration that takes place, and we continue to strengthen those partnership opportunities as well. Then maybe just to touch on the Mandela Park, I think Edie has touched on it. We've done significant work at that particular stadium. There is ongoing work that we're continuing to improve the functionality of that particular stadium to what it was purpose-built for. There were some technical glitches and challenges which we are attending to. We've done our full analysis in terms of technical studies, feasibility studies, and engineering reports. So that work will continue over a multi-year period in order to ensure that we obviously achieve as outlined in the presentation. I'm not sure if there's any other questions, Chair, but I think that's mainly in terms of our partnering and developing from grassroots level to the top level to professional sport as well. Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks very much. We will be pleased if we get these responses in the form of writing so that we further interact with them. Thank you very much. Are we done with the City of Cape Town now? The Honorable MMC.
Yes, Chair, thank you so much. I think some important additional points raised by our Edie Zakiso about the SASRIA Act and the challenges that we face there. While we're obviously very, we take all pains, all efforts to ensure that we're compliant in terms of health and safety. We would appreciate further engagement with Minister Mackenzie about how we can streamline those processes for SASRIA grading to make sure that our facilities are accessible for bigger events. But yes, otherwise I think we have fully been covered, but I've taken some comprehensive notes, and we'd be happy to submit more details in writing, Chair, if that is required. Thank you.
Yes, within 7 days. Thank you very much. Nelson Mandela.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, let's appreciate the questions. And first, appreciate as well the fact that you said we'll have an opportunity of responding in writing on the questions that are posed. We are going to follow also that avenue for better clarity to be received by committee in terms of the issues that are raised. Firstly, I think let me start with just a few of the questions that are raised. In terms of the access to sporting facilities, it remains a challenge to the city, even though we have recently established facility management committees, which comprises of all stakeholders that are involved in the usage of those facilities, including the sporting bodies in those stakeholders, for purposes of managing the facilities well, and also to curb vandalism, but in the main, opening up access to those facilities. And we think that our plan to review our policies on one, the tariff and the tariff structure, which will allow us to give more access to the facilities. And secondly, on opening up discussions on our facilities policies for also purposes of safeguarding and managing the facilities well. So as the city, we are embarking on that. And I must say, part of what we want to review is the 50% payment by schools, because our schools access our facilities at 50% on the tariff rates that we have. So it's no free access to schools, and it's part of what we want to review moving forward. There was a concern that was raised by Honorable Adrianse on my utterances on libraries. I've lifted the challenge of libraries vandalism, because I did not want to lie to the committee and say all is well. But the focus of today's meeting was more emphatic on the sporting facilities. But if we are to bring that information on our responses, we can do so. And I've lifted it because we are meeting Parliament. We must make Parliament aware that as the city, we are spending more than 113 million on libraries services, whilst we are provided by province 19 million. So it's part of the cost drivers in the portfolio, which we think that money would have helped better on the side of the sports development. So I am of the view that if I can lift that challenge, maybe Parliament can find a way of exempting us or persuading Treasury to give us more money around the provision of the service, as it is equally essential for the future of our city, and also to better the education aspect of our society. On the issue of vandalism, vandalism is still a challenge, and I think it's part of the national challenges. It's not only here in Nelson Mandela, across all cities. When we converge, it's part of what we are all faced with, and we are not complacent when it comes to dealing with it. We've set aside on this current budget 250 million to install cameras across all of our facilities as part of asset management and as part of responding promptly on vandalism. Yes, in the current moment, we do have incident report system, which is an internal process, which we open cases, criminal cases, on those facilities when the facilities are being vandalized. Some of the cases, perpetrators are apprehended, and some they are still under investigation. But it's a matter that we are dealing with. Hence, even on our maintenance plan, we are saying we need to be stronger in terms of putting a fence that will not allow vandals to just come in easily on our facilities. As the city on asbestos, there's no dedicated program to deal or eradicate asbestos in our facilities. But as we are renovating, we remove it to make sure that we put much safer roofing, so that our city is also compliant in terms of environmental requirements. On swimming and access, we do have a Learn to Swim program, which was established in 2011. We have not deserted it since 2011. The Department of Sports, Recreation and Culture in the province partners with us the swimming clubs and life saving guards of Nelson Mandela are also part of the program. We have facilities, your swimming pools that are up and running in the location or in the previously disadvantaged area. The one of New Brighton is still well and good. We can go and swim over the weekend. When members of parliament are here for rugby, we can take a dive. On the one of Sweden is up and running. The one of the Galvindale, we've just fixed some of it. So we do have facilities that are well in good state in the previously disadvantaged areas. And I think, Chair, one other matter which we also wanted to lift is the fact that as the city on USDG grant, yes, the allocation is not enough and the need is much bigger. We might be chasing a moving target in terms of fixing the facilities, the vandalized facilities, but we will make sure that what we have is not broken down, because we are trying to strengthen security around these facilities using our metropolis and using our own security and also private security. So there's a hybrid system that we are using to make sure that all our city and facilities are in good state. I would like to appreciate the opportunity of that we are afforded of coming in front of the committee. We are going to be on our toes. As you know, we have not rested since we came in, to make sure that we don't disappoint you as our leaders. We will await for additional questions so that we respond in writing. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor, and your team that we have brought in our midst. We appreciate very much your responses, and also the commitment that some of these responses will be sent to our committee within 7 days. In writing, indeed, as you correctly highlighted them, we appreciate the inputs from both from both these two cities. At least now we will know how to move forward, and also when the budget is needed, we will know what form of budget and why these amounts are being requested, because we received the necessary information. Without further ado, we are going to release you so that we know we are having a very busy schedule of running the sittings. Siyabulela kakhulu both the mayor and the MMC of the city of Cape Town for your engagement. Thank you very much. You can hang around, or if you feel that you still want to be part of the committee. However, we will proceed with our meeting. Thank you very much. Our item now that is following, I think, is the question of minutes in terms of the agenda.
Thank you, Chair. We will recuse ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor.
Chair.
And MMC. Thank you very much. And yes. Can we move to our next item, the minutes. Ms. Kai, it's you, Doc.
Hello, Chair. Sorry, first to have adoption of budget votes number 37 for the
Yes.
Department of Sports and Arts and Culture.
Thank you very much for reminding me. Can we adopt, honorable members, the vote Vote 37, Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. Honorable members, are you still there?
Chairperson,
Honorable Span,
option of this report.
thank you very much, Honorable Spande. Any seconder? Honorable Baines, thank you very much. Honorable Baines,
Oh, sorry, Chair. I'm seconded. Thank you.
thank you very much, leadership. Can we move to another item?
This is another
Oh.
vote 17. It's another report.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kula. Honorable members, here is a budget vote 17. Honorable Spande,
I move for the adoption of budget vote number 17.
thank you very much, Honorable Spande. Any seconder?
Chair, it's Honorable Sabande my day. I will second it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both the Honorable Baines and Honorable Du Plessis.
Thank you, Chair. I do need to note the position that we took during the debate with regards to the specific vote.
I didn't capture you correctly. Sorry, Honorable Du Plessis.
Apologies, Chair. I just want the minutes to reflect that we still stand by the position we took in the budget debate for higher education, which is because of the alleged and reported corruption of the minister. We cannot support the specific budget until that is addressed. Thank you.
The objection is noted, Honorable Member. Can we proceed to another item? Mr. Kula, is it you or?
Hello, Chair? Yes, we
Yes,
must flight on. It's only the minutes now. We're going to flight the minutes, the last set of minutes.
Yes. They are visible now. To those honorable members that were present on this meeting, can you move it up a little bit? Yes, yeah. They are there, the minutes, honorable members, to those members who are here, who were part of the meeting. These are the minutes, honorable members. You were part of the meeting, yes. It's what then they were also sent to us. Honorable Du Plessis.
Chair, I move to adopt the minutes. Thanks.
Honorable Subban, yes, thank you for Honorable Du Plessis. Honorable Subban.
I move to second Honorable Du Plessis.
Thank you very much.
The minutes.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Subban. I think that's all that we have for today, honorable members. Is that correct, Mr. Kula? No other item that we're leaving behind?
No, Chair, no other item. It's just closure now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kula. We arrived at the conclusion of our meeting, honorable members. Thank you very much for your participation. Our meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Yes.
Enkosi, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, ladies.